Welcome to the Michigan Association of Secondary School Principals New and Improved podcast series featuring great discussions, insight, and resources on all things related to education and administration.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the MASSP podcast. My name is Ryan Cayce, and I'm very excited to be having a special guest with us today, who is Kathy Surd, and we are going to be talking about computer science in Michigan. And Kathy, first and foremost, thanks for being here. How are you doing today?
Great. Thank you for having me. I'm really excited to be able to talk about this with all the principals in Michigan.
Awesome. And now I was going to attempt to explain all of your roles and your titles, but I'm going to leave that to you because you are a busy woman with a lot of different stuff going on. So can you just share with the folks kind of who you are and what you do?
Absolutely. So I'm now the new MySTEM Region 9 Director, and I sit out in Ludington, Michigan, helping to support an 8-county region, which encompasses Cadillac and Big Rapids and Manistee and Ludington and sort of all the territory in between. That's my day job. What I like to do for fun is support code.org opportunities in Michigan. So Michigan has one contract with code.org, and it happens to be through West Shore ESD in Ludington.
Very cool. See, and there's a lot of acronyms there. I didn't want to screw those up, so I'm glad you did that. And before we end the podcast, we'll have you share your contact info at the end in case people have any questions on any of these initiatives. So
sounds good.
You know, there's one of the reasons I want to have you on, Kathy, is because there's just there's a lot of buzzwords out there in Michigan right now. You know, for the past really decade, we've been talking about engineering and STEM classes and curriculum, and then it moved to STEAM. And now we've seemed to really been focusing on computer science and programming, especially with all the buzz around the Marshall Plan and kind of the focus there. Why are we seeing this focus now? And why should schools who have been hesitant get on board and try and incorporate some of these in their buildings?
Wow, so this could be a half-hour conversation in and of itself. Everybody who's working on the Marshall Plan is probably seeing the data come out about the number of career opportunities that are available in computer science and information technology. The Marshall Plan boasts over 270,000 jobs between now and 2024 that they're projecting to be available in Michigan alone, just in computer science and information technology. So it is one of the fastest growing career field areas. And, they're very high wage positions. So these are not only many positions, but they're also well-paying positions, lots of opportunity for advancement. So certainly in the job sector, which is a priority in Michigan, computer science certainly rises to the top of that for our future here in Michigan. Additionally, technology just isn't going away. It's getting broader, it's getting bigger. So even if students aren't thinking that computer science is necessarily their direct career path, almost anything they do in life at this point in time is probably going to include technology in some form or fashion. So just having a basic understanding of technology is a good thing, regardless of what career path students pursue. And traditionally, I'm a math and science person. So I'm, born and bred a math and science teacher. And when I look at the content of the computer science opportunities, I just love the integration between computational thinking and computer science. I really see the strong connections between the science and engineering practices and the work that's going on inside of the computer science classrooms. So beyond technology itself, just those ways of thinking that we're trying to enrich with students overall in their career path, whatever it might be, these ideas really are supported really well in other career or content areas also.
I was listening to you talk about, how the careers are expanding and there's going to be so many more opportunities. So as a principal, I'm thinking with my principal hat on now. So what are some ways that I could maybe easily jump on board, if you will? So if I want to get some sort of computer science curriculum going in my school, maybe we don't have a lot of offerings for those. I know in my experience working in rural schools, we had, smaller schools, so smaller staff. I wasn't fortunate enough maybe to have a computer science teacher on staff. Is there a way that they can still bring in some sort of computer science courses or curriculum in order to help prepare students who are interested in these career fields?
Yeah, now is a great time, and there are lots of opportunities and lots of ways that schools can get involved. And I'll highlight one that I work directly with, which is the code.org program. Code.org is a national nonprofit organization, and their goal really is to support all students in having the opportunity to learn computer science. So their intention is to provide resources for free. All of the resources that a school might need are available online. They currently have no intention of charging for those resources, so it's
Awesome.
very easy to access, and they're high quality work. So behind Code.org is a group of computer scientists and instructional leaders that are doing this at a national, international level. So they need to produce high quality materials, and their intention is to keep them free. Also, right now, it's an interesting time with teacher certification. In the past, teachers needed to have a computer science endorsement in order to be able to teach a computer science course, and the Department of Ed has given us some flexibility with that. So as long as teachers are teaching at the appropriate grade level, the schools have more choice options into what certifications the teachers might have in order to teach computer science. So if you have a really fantastic English teacher who has a passion and a drive for learning computer science, even if they don't have a computer science degree, as long as they're teaching at the appropriate grade level, they meet the certification requirements currently in the state of Michigan. So there is some flexibility. I know a lot of the schools in the area where I teach or where I work now don't have computer science certified teachers, and they're all learning. They're learning how to do computer science in their classroom, and they're doing it with students. So the Code.org opportunities allow teachers who've never done it before to really come in and do a good job with the classes that they have available. We're noticing some good success rates as we're working with the College Board and others on the AP CSP class. So although we love teachers with computer science endorsements, and we think it's fantastic to have teachers with computer science endorsements teaching students, if you're a school that doesn't yet have that, there's still a path forward for you, for your teachers to be able to teach these courses.
And I actually took it, I don't know if you realize this, Kathy, because I actually connected with you maybe a couple years ago when I was at a small school in Ubley, and we were in the same boat, very small, limited staff, but we wanted to bring in some, not only computer science or another elective or another alternative that we felt was relevant for that kids were demanding on their schedule, but then also advanced placement. So we were able to be part of that cohort that went through, and teachers got trained. They went for a week-long training, and then we were able to offer again, not only a computer science course, but an advanced placement course too. So, through College Board, an opportunity for them to, students who successfully complete it and pass the exam to get college credit.
Yeah, and it's really exciting because normally when schools think about AP, there's some connotations that usually come along with that. So I'm thinking about a Calc BC class that our school used. Yeah. It wasn't like students went from pre-algebra to Calc BC. There was usually a pathway for them to get into a Calc BC class. AP CSP is an opportunity where students don't necessarily need to have a lot of prior background in computer science. In fact, many of the students that are in the AP CSP courses that are going on around the state right now haven't had any computer science before, and they're still able to find success in that class. So it's really an exciting time because we're breaking down some of the barriers that students may have had in the past with accessing some AP opportunities, and AP CSP is one of those examples that students can jump right into and be excited about and find some success with.
Yeah, so I just want to reiterate one of the things you said about that course is, just so we're clear, it is a computer science advanced placement course, but it really is more of an introductory one versus some of the more advanced AP computer science courses that are available too, where kids are, learning Java language for 2 years straight or whatever. Like, this really is one where people don't need a lot of background or experience in that curriculum to go in and learn and be successful.
Absolutely. And if students grow into other AP computer science offerings like AP CSA, that's fantastic. Or if there are other options for dual enrollment or other ways that students can get even more advanced computer science opportunities, that's great. But AP CSP is one that students can walk right into with almost no computer science background. And they can be successful at it, which is really exciting too. So we're providing ways where students can get new opportunities and also find success at the same time.
That's awesome. Now, you did mention code.org, and I always associate code.org with the because you see it at certain times throughout the year on Twitter and social media, the hour of code. Is that something really that's just for technology classrooms or computer science classrooms to be doing, or is it easy, or should I say, should other classrooms and other classes be involved in that as well?
Yeah, so code.org is really an opportunity to just get exposure, a little teeny tiny taste of computer science or coding. So it's meant for anybody. In fact, it could be even done outside of the school day. So it could be an after-school club. It could be a Saturday group that meets in the library. Hour of Code can happen almost anywhere, almost any time, with almost any age level. And it's really just to expose students to the possibility of computer science. It's not a real daunting task, and you don't even have to do an hour. You could do a half hour of code. It's really just about getting kids an idea of what computer science is and giving them a chance to enjoy a little bit of a fun activity related to computer science.
Very cool. Now, you and I actually have been working a little bit together along with a much larger group as part of a computer science state standards work group. So do you mind just sharing with everybody listening, Kathy, kind of what is the focus of the group? What are some of the people that are on it, and what are we hoping to do?
Yeah, so the computer science work group is a group that's working at the state level, and we're fortunate, both of us, to be able to have a chance to sit in those meetings and hear about all the different perspectives on computer science and why it's so valuable and why it's necessary in this day and age. The work group is looking to try to put together standards that are attainable for all students in the state related to computer science. So they're working real hard, looking at lots of different states and what they're doing, trying to look at highly organized organizations like the CSTA group, who've had standards developed in the past, and trying to match that to the needs of Michigan. As you know, the stakeholder group is very large. There are even companies that are represented in the stakeholder group to say what they need when students graduate from high school. Hopefully, they'll stay on track. It seems like things are moving forward well, and the standards will likely come open for public review this spring. So it'll be an opportunity for schools to get in, take a peek at them, see what they like, offer any suggestions, and from there, the department will move forward with the suggestions that come from the field and work toward computer science standards for the state of Michigan.
Yeah, it really has been a interesting. I'm glad I've been able to serve on that work group, and there really is a great mix of people. So a lot of voices are well represented because there's, secondary and elementary people there. There's ISD folks. There's teachers, administrators, a lot of industry professionals that work in computer science fields. I know we've been lucky enough to have people from Apple, Amazon, Microsoft there at many of the meetings. So really a diverse group of people all working towards the same goal, which is nice. And like I said, I'm excited because you can almost see the end of the line coming. We're getting really, really close to making a recommendation. So that has been a very cool project to be a part of.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, and although we're not yet sure what the accountability looks like or what the implementation looks like, now is a really good time to build your teachers' confidence in computer science and give them some exposure opportunities so that when standards do come their way, they're not completely thrown for a loop wondering what this is and how do I do it, and I don't know anything about computer science. But now is a really good time for schools to help support teachers in getting a little taste of it and starting to understand what it looks like and giving them the confidence they need to feel like they can walk in front of students and do computer science. So it's a really nice time to invest in a little bit of computer science opportunities so that your teachers are feeling more prepared and have a better idea of what it could be like when the standards do get adopted. Absolutely.
Great suggestion. Kathy, are there any other things you want to mention related to computer science? I know we talked Hour of Code and code.org a little bit. We talked about some of the introductory AP computer science opportunities. Any other things that might be options for schools to get involved with?
Well, I think just one piece that's been very forefront on everybody's mind is this idea of equity. And, it really is important that all students have an opportunity to learn computer science. Computer science is something that needs diversity. I was talking with an employer last week, and they said, back in the old days, we only had men doing computer science. And they would do things like help design washing machines that typically women would be using. So we would come forward with these designs for washing machines, and then women would be like jumping in, trying to drag their feet along the floor just to reach the clothes at the bottom of the washing machine, because men were designing them and women were using them.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, it was a really neat conversation from a business perspective of their need and their value that they have on everybody learning computer science, so that we do have broad perspectives moving forward on the types of products we're producing. And equity is just important, period. We want all kids to have an opportunity to do anything they want in life. So as we're looking at computer science opportunities, that's no different. Regardless of your background, regardless of whether you're male or female, regardless of whether you start in a suburban school, an urban school, or a rural school, it really is important that all students get the same opportunities to really have a chance at some of these high-paying, high-demand career options that are coming available.
And I know, like I said, there are still even, and sometimes it's based on your region and school size, but there are other options in Michigan for schools to get involved with computer science curriculum as well through, and I don't know if you're comfortable or not maybe talking about it, but like Microsoft Teals.
Absolutely.
If they're not familiar with that program, I think Cisco has a curriculum centered around some computer science, like networking and stuff. So there are, then obviously the big push, I know a lot of schools are getting involved with FIRST Robotics.
Yep.
So it seems like there are some other options. You want to touch on any of those, Kathy?
Sure. And so many options are good options. I happen to work with code.org, and I would be happy to support any school that's looking at that. And it's important that schools look at all options, because there are so many good things out there. We do work very directly with Teals, so we try to make sure that there's some bridge points between the code.org opportunities and Teals. And Teals is just expanding rapidly across the state right now, another great opportunity. FIRST Robotics, as you mentioned, is expanding tremendously and has been expanding across the state. We've had some schools in the code.org program that wanted to give their students some more programming information going into FIRST Robotics. So we try to really support and believe in all the different computer science options that are available. And computer science is such a broad field. There are just so many ways to engage with it. You may be a programmer, but you may be someone who wants to do networking, and you need different skill sets depending on which field of computer science you're interested in. So just lots of great ways to get involved, and certainly Michigan has great opportunity in front of it with lots of different career paths.
And Teals too, just for those who aren't familiar with that is where through Microsoft, a partnership is formed between an industry expert who actually comes into the classroom to help kind of co-teach and train the teacher on computer science curriculum. And then once that comfort level is there, and they, then they slowly phase back out. Is that correct with my explanation?
Yep, that's a really good explanation. And they also do AP CSP, so we have overlap area there, which is how some of our teachers are also in the Teals program. And so we work really closely with Teals to provide those supports on both ends of the spectrum, both the industry mentors from Teals and the curriculum and the professional learning from code.org. And it's made a great partnership to really support teachers.
Well, I think we've shared a lot of different options and resources to hopefully at least get the wheels turning for any principals that are listening to this. So if they want to get involved or get started, there's something that really clicked with them that we discussed, Kathy. What should they do to get started?
Yeah, that's a great question. So for a middle school, high school to get involved, it is a more lengthy process than an elementary. In middle school, high school, the school does commit to teaching a course in the fall of the next school year. So for middle school, it would be at least a semester or equivalent to about 50 hours of instructional time. For high school, it's equivalent to at least 2 trimesters or a year, because it is an AP course that students would be exposed to. So the schools will be asked to have a commitment that they actually will be teaching this class in the fall. Applications for teachers come out in January, and during that application phase, the teachers will be asked if their school has made a commitment to actually teach the course in the fall. So now is a really great time for schools that are interested to work toward getting that approval for classes so that they can have the classes ready to roll in the fall, and so that when their teachers apply in January, they can mark yes, our school is committed to offering this class. That'll put them into the pile of good quality candidate for their review. Code.org really wants to support teachers, and they want to support them in the classroom as they're teaching. So the teachers will go through 5 days of professional development and then 4 follow-up days during the school year as they're teaching that class live with students. So it is important that they're doing the class, teaching the class simultaneously with getting the professional learning.
That makes sense, obviously.
Yeah, if the schools aren't ready to commit, they can still use all the resources. They still have access to everything. Nothing's cut off in terms of what they can grab off the code.org website. The only difference is if you're teaching the class, you also can get the professional learning supports as well. Gotcha.
So, Kathy, if anybody wants to do any of these things that we talked about today, how would they get a hold of you? Do you mind sharing maybe your email address or Twitter handle or anything like that?
Yeah, I live on my email. So ksurd@wsesd.org. So again, it's K.
I would say do that one more time, just in case.
Yep. ksurd@wsesd.org. By far the best way to reach me. My cell is also on quite often, although text is probably better than a phone call, 231-233-1669. And we also have a coding page for Michigan. It's mi-coding.com. And that's a place where if you're looking for the teacher certification law, you can grab it off of there. If you're looking at trying to get more information on the format of the program, or maybe which schools in Michigan have been involved, you can go to that website, grab a whole bunch of information, and maybe even some documentation if you need it to move forward with some class development.
And I did not know about that website, so I learned something else new today. So awesome.
Awesome.
Well, Kathy, thank you so much for joining us today. Hopefully principals feel inspired to go out if they feel like this is an area maybe that their students could use and their buildings could grow in. Hopefully we gave them some ideas, and they know that they can get a hold of you if they have some questions. So again, just thank you so much for joining us, and I really appreciate your time.
Ryan, thank you. I appreciate this. I appreciate the opportunity to share the message with our Michigan principals. We had 100 teachers 2 summers ago that were involved in our Code.org program. We had 200 last summer, so our rates are growing very, very quickly. We're looking forward to having at least 100 more high schools and 100 more middle schools next year. So we definitely want to grab those schools that are ready and give them all the supports they need to have a successful experience.
Absolutely. All right. Well, that's going to do it for the MASSP podcast. Remember, season 3 is in full swing with more episodes coming out each month. You can find these episodes on the MASSP website as well as on iTunes and everywhere else podcasts can be found. So thank you for listening, everyone, and have a great day.